Be strong.
Hi all, welcome to another FinPlus video. In our last video about GDP, we discussed what it really is. So today I'm going to start off with its definition once more. So GDP is the final market value of all goods and services produced within an economy over a time period. And this can be quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. Now this final market value of all goods and services, right, that final product actually goes into the GDP, right? And we can actually classify these final market value of goods as being subject to certain interactions. Now, what do I exactly mean by interactions? Now, this can be spending and selling. Now, let's take Krishna's suit company as an example once more. So its final product, right, the suit, they sell this suit to consumers like you and me, and we buy that final product or that suit. So they're interactions. Similarly, consumers like you and me, we buy and sell goods, right? So that's in the GDP as well because it's an interaction. Businesses as well. They sell products to consumers and they might buy materials from other companies to improve their own products. So they buy and sell as well. The government's a really good example because they actually spend on the economy. And this could be in the form of many things, specifically infrastructure, right? Maybe it could be on the military, the defense. It could be on education or public transport, right? So these are all interactions with that final market value, that good. So they're all classified in the GDP. You can also take international, okay, or other countries. But you might be wondering, how exactly do they do this, buy and sell? How do they do that? So the thing is that we, say I'm taking India, for example, we buy imported goods from other countries. And likewise, other countries might buy our goods. Now, this is not clear enough. Let's take an example. Okay, so taking India as an example, that's where I live. Say I purchase an iPhone. Okay, and since Apple is based in the USA, I'm technically importing that iPhone. So the US sort of exports an iPhone to India and I buy it as an import. So we buy imported goods. And likewise, if somebody in the US wants to have Maggi, okay, that's an Indian brand. So if they want to have Maggi, India will export Maggi to the US and then people in the US will buy it as an import, right? So other countries will buy ours. So this is just, summing up all the different interactions with the final market value of goods, right? Spending and saving. Again, this is by multiple stakeholders. It could be by consumers, businesses, the government, international, and all of this comprises of the GDP, all of this expenditure that we're talking about. Now, let's just break it down, right? GDP comprises now of consumers or consumption by consumers. It's a fancy term. And this is just expenditure by consumers, right? That buying and selling that I was talking about. Likewise, we have something called investment, which is the business side of things, right? Businesses buy and sell. So that's business expenditure. Then we have the government. Similarly, this is the expenditure by the government, right? Quite simple. And then we have something complicated. This is net exports part, or the international expenditure that I was talking about. Right? And just to break it down once more, right, this is the international expenditure. We have exports, right, to other countries. And we also have imports to our country, right? So this is We buy imports and others buy our exports. This is also in the GDP. But now there's this really strange reality. You know, this consumption, investment, and government, right? They all actually contain imports, because the businesses might buy foreign goods, right? Government might use foreign military equipment. So that's why we actually have net exports coming into play. So what we're doing here is we're subtracting imports altogether from consumption, investment, government, and that export quantity. So imports is gone now. And all we have left is exports, or locally produced output. That's why we say it's gross domestic product, right? It's only our output. So now if we sum up everything, right? GDP, right, will be our consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, government expenditure, and our net exports. And this quantity is called as nominal GDP. There's multiple kinds of GDP, but this is probably the most important one. It's something that we study the most as well. So in our next video, we're going to talk about a few more things. What is real GDP? How is it different from nominal GDP? We're going to explore whether nominal GDP is good, could it be bad, and also some alternatives to GDP itself. That's it. Thank you for watching.